know that we want to, an animal that we say is well presented just doesn't happen in the show, and showmanship is also a very important part of that. Let's kind of walk through some steps there that you might give us some tips on.
Yeah. You know, you can spend so much time during the summer preparing your animal, and really it comes down to about 5 or 6 minutes in the ring. And if you don't have your animal well presented, you can easily be overlooked by the judge. So it's really important to practice that showmanship. I really encourage juniors to go home and practice with their animals. Take your heifers out into the ring, out into the yard, and circle them around and practice setting them up and get them relaxed and used to that experience. One of my biggest tips for juniors is when they're setting their animal up, try to walk your animal into it. When you are in the show ring and you're approaching the animals in front of you, slow down and slowly step them into it. Try not to poke your animals too much with your show stick, because that's going to agitate them and just make they won't look as natural out there in the ring. So try to walk them into it, and in that same aspect, leave some room between you and the animal in front of you in case you do need to step up. That way you're not wasting time circling around the ring. But there's a lot of tips that juniors can take to learn showmanship, but just continue to ask questions of others that are more experienced people, and they can really find more success in the show ring.
Maybe what are some of the, you see these young getting it started, and you went through this, learning it sometimes the hard way, I suppose. Some of the early mistakes, is it just getting too fast, getting the animal out of step?
Yeah, and you gotta stay relaxed. You know, I know when you get out there and it's your first time showing, you're gonna be nervous, but make sure you scratch your animal really slow. And if you're relaxed, then they're gonna be more relaxed. And don't fight your animal, and that really helps when you work at home with them, because they're gonna be more relaxed in the show ring.
Right. Now, as far as setting up, you said don't something about stepping into that. What did you mean by that?
Well, when you're out there in the ring, there's a certain you want to have your animals presented in the right way. There's a lot of different ways people do it, but you want to try to slowly step them into it and not poke them with your show stick, because that's just going to agitate them.
Now, difference between poking them with the stick, but you say, but very slowly using the stick.
If you really work with your animals, you shouldn't have to use your stick at all. You should be able to pull them forward, and they should step right into the position if you really work with them at home.
You find that when you've had showing cattle as well, John, over the years, and those are great tips. But anything to add going into the show ring?
Oh, I agree. Paige had some great points that she touched on there, especially with walking an animal into its natural stance. They'll be more comfortable, and they'll be more apt to stand there, more relaxed, and show themselves off a lot better. Also, another little point, a lot of times some showmen, when they're out in the ring, I know it's a nervous situation, but they quit paying attention to their animal stance. And a lot of times a calf might move a leg and them not know it, and just because they're not quite paying attention. So always keep checking on feet placement.
How about the hand with the halter? Is there any positioning there, either one of you or Riddell as well, that might be helpful to viewers out there, young viewers?
I always tell people, like how I like to hold the show halter is where I have the maximum amount of control. And it's not right next to their face, but it's also not 2 feet away. It's right there where that chain meets the leather.